Hello, my name is Daniel Alexander Cannon. I am a online journalist, and I'm here today to disclose to you information that is currently in play, that is shaping or may be going to shape or change the face of our planet, or at least the people that inhabit it. I have much to disclose with you. This is the most important video that I've ever done. I've done previously 500 videos and have had in excess of 5 million views or 5 million views of my videos on the internet. I am a fairly well-known journalist. The information I have to share with you today is dynamic. It's mind-blowing. It's something we need to look at and investigate for ourselves. With that said, let's get started. Some of you in the know actually already know some of the information I'm going to share with you, but we're going to go places in this video that you've never been taken. Some of this information you're not aware of, and I'm here to disclose it to you today. It is worth sitting and watching through this video and potentially going into a potential part 2 of this video. Do you understand, some of you do, that you are that you have a straw man, a corporate entity that exists, that was created in order to control you? You may call it enslave you. Are you aware of that when you get a social security number, when you are a child, when your parents voluntarily go down and get you a social security number, that social security number is then used to trace and track you, of course, throughout your life, right? Well, it's also used to trade your value and bet against your value on the stock market. Now, you may say this is crazy, but I beg for you to do a little bit of your research. I'm going to give you all you need to figure out much of what's going on here and what's been put upon us, and then disclose to you some potentially wonderful news that is going to push all this away. But first you have to understand exactly up front what happened, and then I'm going to tell you what is happening that may change all of this and free you from this system. You may notice that your name here, if your name was John Q. Public, is in capital letters. That's to indicate a corporate entity. It's the straw man. It is your corporate entity that they use to trade your value, how much work you may do, how much sweat may come off your brow during your lifetime. And of course there is a social security number attached to this. You see, we all think that we are free individuals in America and many other countries, when in fact we believe in our own minds, and we've accepted it because we've never questioned it, as to why we have all these numbers. This is the backside of your social security card, and you'll notice that there's another number that is on the back. This is a British bank control number that is used to also trace you as an investment. You see, part of the scheme and the method in which they incorporate this scheme onto your life is that when you are born, it is announced that you are born by producing a birth certificate and putting your footprints involuntarily onto a birth certificate, which announces that you exist on the planet. Now, who does it announce it to? Well, it announces it to the U.S. government, but it also announces it to the British Crown. In some cases, drops of blood are used. You see, when your parents unknowingly and unwillingly or did willingly place your footprint or your blood drop on the birth certificate, they created you, the straw man. You see, you have been convinced, because you've never been told otherwise, because they do not teach this in history, but you have been convinced that you are a citizen of the United States or a citizen of of another country, when in fact you are a human being, right? You are a human being. You are not this entity that was created. You are not a corporate entity. And the understanding of this will allow you to take this back, to take back this. Now, let's go into why these accounts were created, okay? Why are these accounts, and how do they function, and how does it relate to you, and why is it important to you? To understand this, you have to understand some of the history of the financial world, where all the wealth of all the centuries of the work of mankind has gone. Well, I'm going to disclose to you now where it is. It is held in trusts. It is held in trusts throughout the world and controlled by organizations. Some of them you are familiar with, some of them you're not familiar with. Here is a list of the trusts that hold the people's wealth. White Spiritual Boy. I understand it's a strange name. Spiritual Wonder Boy. Morning Star. King David. Prophet Muhammad. Demas. And Saint Timothy. Now, what are in these trusts? Well, what's in this trust is held for each individual person on the planet. The value from all the future work of your ancestors and all the gold that has been dug and removed from Mother Earth and all the antiquities that exist on the planet. Major, vast amounts of wealth beyond even the debt of the United States of America Incorporated. And all the other countries out there that are corporations. You see, your countries are corporations, your cities are corporations. Everything has been formed, even yourself, into a corporation so that it can be controlled and there can be profit made from it. Now, what are they pulling this profit from? How does it work? Well, I'm not going to sit here and claim to know everything, but I will share with you a few things. If you go to fidelity.com and you go to research and you click on quotes, it will bring you to this page. And then if you enter your social security number, if you live in the US, you enter it in this fashion. And you'll notice it's different than the way that you would suspect you would enter it. Well, and then you hit quote, and what you'll get is a report on your social security number, and which is you, the fictional you, the corporate you, not the human being you. And your mutual funds that are set up for you there. What it will disclose for you is a number of mutual fund accounts where your corporate entity is being traded on the stock exchange. And it will go on and show you various amounts of money, as you might call it, as to your worth and what you have in these mutual funds. The mutual funds that I'm referring to, that you'll see some of referred into here, are ones such as Morning Star, White Spiritual Boy, King David, Prophet Muhammad, Demas, Saint Timothy, the ones that I listed to you before. And you are being traded on the stock market. Now, not only that you're being traded on the stock market, you have a value in each one of these mutual funds that is disclosed unless you've rescinded your social security number in the US, like I have done. I no longer use my social security number for any purpose, so therefore I have no problem in even disclosing it here. And so I don't have these mutual funds showing up because I have rescinded my Social Security number. Now, what you will see when you run this, when you come down and you look at your mutual funds, I only have one showing up here, and it does not have the information on it that yours will show. Down here at the bottom, it says Franklin, California, High Yield Muni Fund Advisor Class. Okay. One thing it will do over here, which it does not have here because I've rescinded my Social Security number, is it will show a fund value. Okay. You will see a fund value on your mutual funds, and you will notice that the fund value is listed in millions, and the value in the fund will be in the billions. Some of you will have multiple funds, as in 4 or 5 funds that will have billions of dollars in those funds. Some of you will only have a few. It depends on what things you've engaged in throughout your life, what type of financial agreements and so on. So you may ask, well, how do I get my hands on this money? Well, that's been an age-old problem that's been going on for a long time. You see, there was a president that actually knew of this, that was aware of it, and wanted to return the value to the people. And when he attempted to return a portion of the value, approximately 1/7 of the value to the people, he was murdered. He was murdered approximately 11 days after signing the agreement with one of the fund managers. You see, these fund managers, as you might call them, they get great power by holding your wealth. They get great control and abilities to do this. However, JFK was interested in returning the value to the people, and it was one of the main reasons that he was murdered. I can tell you that it appears that the attempt is being made again to return the value from at least one of the 7 funds that holds your wealth, your inheritance, you might say. It is being attempted again in a different way. With JFK, they attempted to go through him, through the president, to allow for this fund to be released to the people. And you may recall he tried to reattach the dollar to the gold standard. However, you may ask, how did we get here? How did we get into this situation? How did we lose control so much? Well, there are many reasons. For the United States, it was in 1871. There was an act of 1871. If you recall, we became a free nation, a republic, not a democracy, in 1776. But through the wars and through various things, there were what you might call silent weapons, paperwork basically, used in order to retake over the United States by the British Crown. And no, you were never told. They allowed you to exist in the illusion that you still had a country. You see, the Act of 1871 also created a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, a separate form, a corporate form, which is a 10 square mile parcel of land and is governed with the British Admiralty Law, UCC. You see, the British, they came again, but they came in 1871, and they carried no guns, and they shot no bullets. In part 2 of this investigative video series, I am going to go into depth with you as to what is being planned and how they are rolling it out, as to try and to make an attempt to release 1/7 of the human population's value back to them from the white spiritual boy fund, you might call it. So stay tuned for part 2, and got a lot more to share with y'all guys. It's going to get very interesting. Thank you.